Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I have a very quick fun match against somebody I found using the universal code 2022-2021. So straight off the bat you can see I have made some changes. I've brought in Registeel, a different kind of Registeel set. It's actually max special attack to set hazards and cripple mons with Thunder Wave. Brought a choice banded Gliscor with Hypercutter so that we don't get intimidated. Slowking as our special defensive wall with Future Sight. Kept Ariados as the sticky web setter, and we brought in Choice Scarf, Typhlosion, because Typhlosion always hits hard. So my opponent has Gliscor of his own, Fortress, Tangrowth, Gengar, and Gyarados. Looking at my opponent's team, it is fairly threatening, especially the Gyarados. If you let that thing set up, Dragon Dance is on you and it's a maxi set, then you're going to be in trouble. Fortress will also be annoying to deal with because, as you can see, it's only after I made this team I realized I do not have any hazard removal on my team. So we will be in a lot of trouble if we allow my opponent to stack hazards on us. So looking at my opponent's team, I was unsure what to lead with, and then I changed my mind and decided, okay, I'm gonna just lead with Exploud straight out the gate and just start breaking glass, man. I'm gonna just come out and just hit hard and see where it goes. So my opponent leads off with Gliscor, and out comes Bob or Exploud, and I'm like, okay, let's see how much damage we can do to this thing. A Specs Boom Burst should definitely chunk this thing. And as you will see here, my boy decimates that thing with a critical hit though. I calced it afterwards, and even with almost max HP and some special defense investment, it's still a 90 something or 80 something % chance to one hit KO with Boom Burst. So I stay in here and I just go for it again. Boys just out here making noise. We're about to raise the roof, man. So we take the Gengar down to its sash, its Curse Body activated and crippled our Boom Burst, but I have no worries about that. I'm just gonna switch and bring in my Registeel here and take another Sludge Bomb if he decides to go for it. So as Registeel comes in, my opponent actually goes for Thunderbolt, changing up his moves, probably expecting, I don't know, maybe expecting me to bring in my Slowking, but that really doesn't make any sense. So I go for the Stealth Rocks as my opponent switches, and in comes his Fortress. I know that I do not have any type of hazard removal on this team, so with this thing in here, I need to get out of here and bring in somebody that can deal with this. Looking at my opponent's team, if I bring in my Typhlosion, he can just easily switch into Gyarados and then set up on me. So I'm going to go to Slowking here and hope that he doesn't realize that Slowking gets Flamethrower. So in I come with my Slowking, and my opponent decides to go for the Rapid Spin and get my rocks off his side of the field. So we recover a little bit of HP with our leftovers. Nom nom nom. Have a quick little snack on the battlefield, and I'm just gonna go straight for a Flamethrower and hope that he doesn't realize that a Flamethrower is incoming. So my opponent sets up spikes, and there he goes, and I take this thing out with the Flamethrower. Luckily for me, he did not have Sturdy, so unfortunately for him, he needs to go and get an ability capsule and change that thing's ability to Sturdy or something. So in comes his Slowbro now. I know I cannot do anything to this thing, anything at all, so I'm definitely going to have to get out of here. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, the best way to respond to this thing is with Registeel. Since we're max special attack, we should be able to do some damage with Thunderbolt. But as you see here on the switch, my opponent is actually going to stay in front of me and start setting up calm mines. So in we come, we get hurt by the spikes, and then Slowbro clears its mine, gets that +1 special defense and special attack. Now that's putting me in a very tough spot because with calm mine I cannot 1v1 this thing with Registeel. So my best response to it here now is to try and cripple it with Thunder Wave and then get somebody in here that can, you know, do some damage and we can start to wear it down. So there I go, getting the Thunder Wave, and I actually get the first turn paralysis, luckily for me. So it's actually been like RNGesus has been in my corner for this whole battle, because we started off the battle with a crit, probably an unnecessary crit, and then we get the first turn paralysis. So here I go setting up my rocks again as my opponent is paralyzed again for the second turn in a row. So I can definitely say, yeah, RNGesus is on my side of the field today. So I'm going to switch out here and bring in my area dose. It actually has a little bit of special defense investment, so I believe I should be able to, you know, take a water move quite well and be able to lunge and get some damage done to this thing so we can clean it up with somebody else. So there my opponent goes for Scald, gets me down to about half HP. That's after the spikes damage, so I can definitely see the special defense investment is proving to be showing its worth. And we go for the lunge and get off a good chunk of damage, maybe about a 25%, and he retaliates with a psychic, and that shall dismiss our area dose. So down she goes actually, and the score is now 5-4. Luckily for me, majority of his team is slower than Exploud, and now I have the opportunity to come in here with my Gliscor and deal some damage to this thing with a knockoff, hopefully trying to take it out. I was thinking to go for the U-turn and then U-turn back into Typhlosion and let that take whatever he decides to go for, and then come back in and finish it off with a knockoff. But if he decides to go and slack off, it will work out in his favor, because when Typhlosion comes in, Typhlosion cannot do anything to that. So I decided to just go for the knockoff and stay in, and he takes me out with a Scald, bringing the score back down to 5-5. So now it's the time for Exploud to shine again. He can easily come in, and with this thing's HP being that low, it will definitely not survive a Specs Boom Burst. So here we go again, raising the roof, and we dismiss that Slowbro finally, and let's see what my opponent decides to respond with. So in comes my opponent's Tangrowth, and knowing that there's no assault vest in this game, I have no fear of this thing, and I'm just gonna do the same thing again. I'm just gonna go for the Boom Burst and deal as much damage as possible. And as you're going to see, Specs Boom Burst, it's not no joke, man. This thing is not a joke. So I get another crit, which I did calc after again as well, and with the typical Tangrowth set, it's still a high chance for 1-hit KO. So now in comes the Gyarados. Luckily for us, it's Intimidate, and I'm not going to take the chance of switching and then he decides to go for a Dragon Dance. So I just stay in, we take that waterfall to the face, and Bob goes down. But Bob has already done a very good job throughout this battle. He's brought a lot of offensive pressure, and he's definitely crippled my opponent's team. So now I can just easily bring in my Registeel and finish up this battle with a Thunderbolt, as the Gengar will die when it comes into rocks. So finally I've gotten a chance to showcase the destructive power of Exploud, and to me the only thing that's actually holding back Exploud is its speed tier. With such mediocre speed, I think 258 being max, it's very much at the behest of any good sweeper in the OU metagame. Anything can come in and revenge kill Exploud. It needs a lot of support, especially with sticky webs. Luckily for me, playing it aggressively straight out the gate actually worked out, and I can say it was definitely a good game to my opponent. And see you guys for another battle when I come back again. I'll bring back the heat.